Cool. Well, it's a privilege to be part of the Crossroads community and to be here in Cincinnati. I love living in Cincinnati. Psalm 90 ends with a plea that grabbed my attention 10 years ago. It says, "May the work of the Lord appear before your servant. Establish the work of my hands, O Lord. Establish the work of my hands." And I thought to myself, how much easier it would be if I was doing God's work, following Him, instead of asking God to bless my projects. Exactly 10 years ago, in April 2006, Dave Peterson, a friend at Menlo Park Presbyterian Church, gave me a blessing called Doing God's Work God's Way. He gave it to me because I told him I was going to invest my treasure in Romania. This blessing offers a very different approach to entrepreneurship. And as you'll hear today, it's been more fruitful than my wildest imaginations. The blessing begins with a familiar verse. We are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. I bless you with knowing your purpose as God has seen it in His heart. Because as you experience the joy of fulfilling your purpose, you will benefit, others will benefit, and the world will be a better place. Today, I'd like to share the rest of this blessing in 6 small pieces as I've experienced the wonder of becoming part of God's workmanship over 12 years and 106 transatlantic trips to Romania. Entrepreneurs, the blessing number 1 is that I bless you with a life-giving community to fit into. You have a piece to put into a mosaic because you can't do what God's called you to do alone. I bless you with finding like-hearted, like-spirited, and like-vision partners. So how do we know if we're doing God's work? I think the easiest way is to look around and see who's joined the team, because God has planted His work in the hearts of His people, and He unites those people into His enterprises. The TED Talk Start With Why is all about this. Great endeavors don't happen based on who raises the most money, hires the most employees quickest, and gets to market fastest. Great enterprises come from organizations that attract talented people united in the same mission. Blessing number 2, your Father will bless you with the right closed doors. The enemy will try to get you to do things that God has not designed for you. Good things, legitimate things, honorable things, profitable things, but your Father has not designed them for you. The question most entrepreneurs ask me is, what do you think about that market opportunity? And my response is, the question isn't the market opportunity. The question is whether God designed this opportunity for you. Blessing number 3, I bless you with being in your Father's time, not running ahead, not lagging behind. Because doing His will in the right time, with the right place, the right way, with the right people alongside of you. God's work's like an oak tree, built slowly with deep roots, and it lasts for generations. Human work is like a mushroom with no roots and a quick exit. God's work always involves more patience than we think. Timing is probably the biggest factor that dooms startups. Most are too early, some are too late. Most of my failures when I was in the venture business with Delphi Ventures were in startups that invested aggressively in a growth plan and ran out of money before the market developed. But I don't think God scripts aggressive growth plans. What God writes is a people plan. And I think God signals His timing in your business based on when He brings the right people. The final blessing. Your Father intends for you to carry the fragrance of heaven, for people to be attracted to you. But it won't be because you're effective or competent or secure, but because you have the perfume of Christ. In November 2014, I've gotten carried away here and skipped some of these here. I was afraid I would do this. In November 2014, driving down 71 here, a Romanian NGO called me to do a Get Out the Vote video in the presidential campaign. I drove to a friend's studio in Covington. We posted a short video on our Romania One YouTube channel. The video instantly went viral in a stunning political outcome. The candidate who won overcame a 20-point deficit in the polls in 7 days. I'll close with a line that we know from Matthew, Luke, and John. For where your treasure is, your heart will be also. If I had not invested most of my net worth in Romania, I probably would not have found the courage to chase illegal loggers, unlock the mystery of where my taxes were being spent, or become an anti-corruption crusader. I've learned where you and me invest our treasure is how we affect the world around us. And I close with two thoughts. For investors like me, do an asset allocation model with just two asset classes. One's building the kingdom, and the other is called fortifying worldly principles. Take a look at every equity, security, and bond that you own and put them in one of these two classes, and you'll see where your heart really lies. And for entrepreneurs, as you demo your product, share your marketing strategy, and pitch investors, have the heart of a servant, because people don't really care what you know until they know you really care about them. I posted this blessing on my blog. I've got a website, donlothrop.com, if any of you want to read it in its entirety and share it. And I'll close, and maybe some Romanians here can offer the final word. But I'll close by saying tomorrow is Good Friday in Romania. Hundreds of Romanians are watching this right now. And to the Romanians, I love you. I miss you. And Christos a înviat. Christ is risen indeed. That's always the final word. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Oh, thanks. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.